5, 4, 3, 2. What's good, everybody? We are back again for another episode of the No Hedging Podcast. I go by the name of Rip 16, the GOAT.
I am Ty, the Jet.
And we are the Mighty No Hedging Podcast duo, back for week 11.
11.
Or it's 11, as they like to say in Atlanta. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot to discuss. A lot has transpired over these past 10 weeks, but especially week 10 was an interesting week for a lot of matchups, so it's definitely some things to be discussed and talked about. But make sure y'all tap into the channel, keep showing it love so we can keep showing it back to y'all. Picks are heating up, the bets are heating up, the props are actually propping really well, so make sure y'all get in with me because I got things to share for you all. Matter of fact, start the show off with one of my favorite ways to start the show off, a little thing I like to call GOATtalk. So can I get a Stone Cold Steve Austin? What? See, in these battles, it's a lot of roller coasters. It's some hills, it's some peaks, it's gonna be some valleys. You're gonna go through some trying situations. You're gonna go through some turbulent times with some of these teams. And as we spoke about Injury Mountain and we spoke about the roller coaster of dominant teams, and you know, some of these teams won't know when they good, won't know when they bad. But you know what? You're good. And that's the part you always gotta remember. Some of these teams, they gonna let you down. They gonna screw some parlays. They gonna hold some straight bets. They gonna do some stuff that don't make no kind of sense. But if you get in with us, and you stay on the grind, you stay diligent, you study your matchups, you study your teams, you know, you can still salvage and have some winning weekends, even in the midst of all the BS. So I want to make sure y'all stay locked in, stay tapped in. And if all fails, just remember that you still got NBA bets.
That's a buy.
Because when those NFL picks fail, I don't mind switching over to NBA.
Crazy work.
And that has saved my day on multiple days. So, like, share, comment, subscribe. Because what's L?
I never been known to take those.
Let's get into a wonderful segment, one of my other favorite classic segments, a segment that we cannot do this show without. It is a fundamental and foundational piece of everything we do at this channel. It's a session and a segment we like to call Takeaways. What do you got?
And it's picked off.
Probably gonna get picked. What's your first takeaway, man?
The NFC is showing that they are more dominant than the AFC.
Have they?
Absolutely.
Got.
Absolutely. It's harder. Like the NFC is just showing more dominance with their teams.
How, swear?
Just look at the team, especially, you know, the some of the top teams in the NFC. The Detroits, how they dominated this past week in Washington. Seattle, how they dominated their division opponent in the Cardinals. The Rams, how they dominated the 49ers. Like those are those top teams in the NFC. And then you look on the other side of that, you got the Bills struggling. You got, you know, on the NFC side, on the AFC side, you got teams struggling. The Bills struggling. Who are the other struggling? The Chiefs, they were off this past week. But the Broncos struggling to, you know, barely win against the Raiders.
The Broncos have won 7 games in a row.
That's fine, but they're not winning in dominant fashion. They got one side of the ball that's dominating, but offensively they can't score any points. Their offense look a little inept at most times, and they just been getting lucky, honestly, winning these games, in my opinion. But those games that they've won, they could have easily lost as well, right? So,
okay, but I feel like this is the part you're overlooking, right? We talking about the Bills, right? The Bills aren't even leading the division, and they're still a high-ranked favorite opponent because you're just completely bypassing the Patriots, who are 8-2. Mm-hmm. So, and who have also won 7 games in a row, by the way. Mm-hmm. So, I don't necessarily
as a
agree.
collective, the NFC.
I don't necessarily agree with the NFC being better because I feel like in some of those NFC teams is one team in the division that's being dominant, but the rest of the division is either mid or shit. Versus
dominant,
where,
I don't know.
Versus where the AFC teams, such as you have to deal with the Patriots and the Bills in that division. You have to deal with the.
Okay, so let me ask you.
You have to deal
Patriots,
with the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs are still in the mix in one of those divisions.
Right.
So
let's talk about the Patriots. Patriots, Seahawks. Who wins that game?
The Patriots or the Seahawks?
Yeah, Seahawks has a better defense. Seahawks offensively have the better receiver.
That's arguable.
They got the lead receiver.
You like that Seahawks defense a lot.
They turn the ball over, scoring touchdowns. You see what they just did?
Well, the interesting thing, we're going to talk about them Seahawks some more.
Rams against the Patriots. Who winning that game?
Rams versus the Patriots?
Mm-hmm. Matt Stafford, MVP. I mean, Drake made up there too. But he takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of sacks.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. Detroit Lions versus the Patriots. Who you picking? Who's going to be favorite?
The Detroit Lions are going to be favored against a lot of teams.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
However,
that's what I'm saying. The NFC side.
The Detroit Lions, my whole thing is this, right? If we're talking about as a collective, yes, they have some dominant teams on that side, right? And I do get where you're going with that. But the thing is, they've also been roller coasters over there. Like, some of those teams have been shit in certain situations.
There's
the
more
Seahawks
teams in the
also
AFC.
Lost some games where they had no business losing.
There's been more teams in the AFC that's been on a roller coaster more than those teams in the NFC. Your Chiefs, your Bills, your I don't even like saying the Broncos, but you have to give them respect because they won games.
I'm not giving them a roller coaster because they won.
Yeah, but it's just how they won matters. That matters to me.
They won off defense.
That matters to me.
They won off defense.
So the Colts being 8-2, are they? It's showing they record wise. Are they best team in the league?
They're one of the better teams, but I don't necessarily. We already had our discussion about the Colts because of the simple fact of the Colts have not played a lot of strong opponents and won. Mm-hmm. Versus the Broncos actually play in a tough division. It's one of the tougher divisions in football right now because you got the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos.
The Chargers aren't that good now because they got injuries. So I'm not even.
The Chargers are 7-3 and second in the division, and then they made a trade and got them an offensive lineman to help bolster and improve the health of the offensive line. Now, do I think he's no Joe Alt? No. But when they played against the Steelers this past week, the Steelers only put up 10 fucking points and the Chargers put up 25. So somebody was blocking long enough for a running back to get a gap or a quarterback to get a pass off.
I'm not going to say it was because of the offensive line. That the Steelers' offense was awful.
Yeah.
They had zero offense.
But
so
the defense is the one that gave up the 25 points.
Right, but if you're going to keep not scoring points offensively and put your defense out there over and over and over again, what do you think going to happen?
I watched the Chargers play, and the problem with the Chargers is they could not generate anything because the defense was in the backfield way too fast. Like in the beginning and the end of the games. You barely got some run blocking. So it was a couple games where Kamani Vidal wasn't really doing a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Now, he came out this game. He played well. He came out. He did something. They cooked up, and they scored points. So all I'm saying is no, I don't think that puts them at the top of the league or anything if they have an offensive line. Absolutely not. They still have some other injuries and other things where they have to clean up. But all I'm saying is their division is still tough. And
what I'm saying is this. If you're comparing the AFC versus the NFC, and I leave it at this right here. The Colts are 8-2. I still don't believe that they for real.
Okay.
The Broncos are 8-2. I don't believe that they for real. because of their lack of offensive output. Their defense is great. Fine. That's true. But offensively, they're not good. There's a lot of games that they won that they could have possibly lost. It could have went the other way around. And that 8-2 can easily be 6-4.
My only thing about the teams that you're talking about dominated, I also seen them get dominated.
The Steelers also, I don't see them being good because their offense is not good. Like the Chargers, okay, they're 7-3, but I don't foreseeing that being a dominant team. Like they haven't had any like dominant victories over anybody that's like, oh my God, besides the Chiefs earlier in the year. But that's Chiefs without players. The Jags, the Bills.
The only player who was missing in that Chiefs game was Rasheed off suspension because that was very early in the season.
But we looking on the NFC side, you can say Seattle is a dominant team. They had dominant wins.
They also got beat and dominated in games. They also was shit at home in a couple of games.
They're 7-2.
But they were shit at home
Lions,
in a couple of games.
They win in dominant fashion. The Rams win in dominant fashion, 7-2. I'm just saying, if you compare the NFC teams to the AFC teams, I think and I believe that the NFC has stronger teams than the AFC right now.
Okay. I mean, I respect it. I just look at a couple of them games and I'm like, But I feel it. What I will say is, speaking of one of those teams you just spoke on and you was talking about as far as being a roller coaster up and down, this, that, and the third. The Buffalo Bills, right? They had a division matchup against the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami came out there and made bison burgers.
That's a bop.
What the fuck was that? I don't know what happened to the Bills. I don't know which one of the Monstars took the Bills' talents. But the Miami Dolphins really dominated the hell out of that game.
Are you surprised, though?
From start to finish. I'm surprised at how dominant it was.
The Falcons did
it. The Falcons did it, but, I mean, the thing is, you talking about the Dolphins with Waddle and Achane, not a full staff of their team. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even have Darren Waller either. So you're talking about the Dolphins with half of your impact players being replacement players versus the Bills in a division matchup, and it just didn't look like the Bills. It just didn't look like Josh Allen. It just did not look like. I understand division matchups are always a little bit different, but I just felt like that was just very ugly.
Once again, the Buffalo defense isn't that good. I mean, they fooled everybody by beating the Chiefs in the regular season, but did they really fool anybody? Because we know that they can beat the Chiefs in the regular season. We know they can beat
the Chiefs in the regular season.
And we know that the Chiefs doesn't have a run game. That's how they lost against Atlanta. Atlanta rushed all over and ran through them. And the same thing happened in this Miami game. Their defense stopping the run is not good. They can't stop the run.
Yeah, I mean, but I was expecting more out of them than that. That's what I could say about that. That was a takeaway from mine.
Yeah, but I don't even put them as a top team in the AFC because of their lack of defense. The defense is not that good.
Oh, I don't either, but I expected better than that.
And it's this roller coaster. I need a team that's going to be even kill, that's good on both sides of the ball consistently. That's a Super Bowl team. That's a Super Bowl caliber team.
Even the Detroit Lions, right? They have not been even killed as far as defense, because their secondary was a liability at one point. Then they start playing a little bit better. They get a little bit healthier. But then they go on this. But then you also lose to the Vikings. Like, so.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I guess my apprehension would just leaning into that. Normally I would lean into that. But the thing is, I've seen that across the board for most teams. I've seen the Seahawks fuck up at home. I've seen the Lions secondary put them in a blender. I've seen some injuries strike the Rams and they win, but then they also lose in certain games or give up a bunch of fuck ton of points when their defense is way better than that. I don't know. I've seen roller coasters out of everybody. So, I mean, that's the only reason why normally, yes, the defense
You see
being
one
that
little
bad.
dip. You don't see the dips like these other teams.
But the Bills have won twice as many games as they lost also. You know what I'm saying? Prior to that beating, they were 6-2. So, I mean, they've won a lot more than they've lost significantly. And they still second in the division. You still in a position of playoffs. You still doing these things. So, I mean, I got to give them some credit for that. But I just expect better performances, I guess, by week 10 in the season out of a lot of these teams. I think you should have your identity established by week 10 about who you are, what you do, how to fill in the gaps in terms of what's your weakness of your team. Mm-hmm. There's no reason the head coach shouldn't know that, okay, I have a defensive liability that has problems stopping the run by week 10. There's no reason you shouldn't know that. You should have been doing something. Trade deadline, make a move, make a play, do something. Now, I understand sometimes that's a lot easier said than done. However, if you want to win a Super Bowl.
I'm just not sold on Buffalo. I'm not, because they don't have, Keon Coleman hasn't came to form as what they drafted him to be.
Right.
Josh Allen out there running around like, can somebody help me? I mean,
right.
we got pieces, but we don't have like a bona fide guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the bona fide guy to go to in this tight situation? You know, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. It's nobody down the field. It's Josh Allen and his legs at the end of the day. So it's like, offensively, I don't think that's sustainable enough. And then defensively, they can't stop the run. So those are like my two reasons on why it's like, hey, man, they can't be
the number one.
They can't be a top, you know what I'm saying?
Tier. I got you.
I mean, they got Josh Allen, but other than that, I mean, he can't win the shit by himself.
No, I got that. I understand.
And that's been proven year after year after year.
Speaking of somebody else, right? Someone brought it to my attention. A good friend of mine. Shout out to Johnny.
Jay Bird, what's happening?
He brought it to my attention, and he went on a rant. He went on a Kanye-esque rant about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. And he said, he was like, Tomlin is da-da-da-da-da. He's done all this. These are terrible moves. Da-da-da-da-da. He should have been gone. He should have been fired. No other coach can have such a weak record as far as seasons. It should have been gone. And I'm like, okay, giving Tomlin a pass on certain things. They didn't have a quarterback. They had a lot of chaos going on. You get a running back who sometimes do some shit and then just stopped. And Najee Harris, you had a lot of changes. George Pickens, NFL young boy, was unhappy. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of situations, right? Do you feel like Tomlin is still the best fit for the Steelers as a team?
I do. Because
that's what I said.
Who you gonna get to fill him?
That's what I said.
Who you gonna get to fill him?
But he said he has a losing record as a head coach, and he didn't make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons on multiple occasions. But
when was this?
Or he didn't make not this pass, but he's saying that
it's
been situations before.
That's the complete opposite of Mike Tomlin.
That's what I was saying. I was like,
Steelers fan, because if he is, he doesn't know his own team.
No,
because
he's not a Steelers fan. But
Tomlin goes to the playoffs every year, and he has a winning record every year. Do they get playoff wins? That's the question. No.
Well, that's what he's saying. They're getting put out of the playoffs ASAP. Yeah. And I was checking it, and I was like, okay, he doesn't have a winning record in the playoffs, but they've made the playoffs on a lot of occasions. Not every year. Mm-hmm. I did check into it. Not every year. However, they were in there. They was in wild cards, and they lost a lot of them. And he was like, if you can't win in the playoffs, then why is he still the head coach? Because he was like, they're hanging on to that one Super Bowl from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I was like, but I was sitting here thinking about it, but I'm like, who do you get to replace Tomlin if you're taking out Tomlin?
Exactly.
And to me, even when they having a roller coaster and they having some downs and ups, I think Tomlin strings together enough good wins to justify him being in the position. especially given the personnel that they've had.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering your take on that, because apparently some people are pissed at Tomlin for getting their ass beat and losing some of these games where they lose.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a role in that, right? I think a lot of it has to do with they didn't have a plan for when Ben Roethlisberger retired.
Right.
They didn't have a plan.
And that's why I also told them they haven't had a quarterback since Big Ben.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best looking ones so far.
Then they dropped the ball with Justin Fields and, you know, all these other guys. So it's like they just haven't had a plan. And it still seemed like they didn't have a plan because you brought Aaron Rodgers' old ass in there. But I think there's a disconnect, and he has to take accountability for it. I think with the offensive coordinator, because the offensive coordinator was the Atlanta Falcons' old coach, Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Right? Old head coach. So is he a great offensive coordinator? I don't think so. But when you have Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position and, you know, Arthur Smith, who I don't think is a good coordinator, then there has to be who made that decision? Tomlin. So he has to take some accountability for that. But and that's why I think their offense is not good. It's not inept. So I can understand the frustration from the Steelers fans, but I think, you know, getting somebody else to replace Tomlin, I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you have to solidify your skill positions. I think you got to also solidify your impact players, you know. And I think, you know, having Metcalf there to replace Pickens kind of brought in some new energy and some new life to the offense in a different way. You got Warren and Gainwell right now doing a decent job on the running attack. So I mean, I think it's some improvements that have been made, but I do agree with that offensive coordinator. And as a Falcons fan, of course, Arthur Smith is not high on my list of people that I would want to be in my coaching staff.
Right.
But you know, I just found it interesting that was brought up, and people was trying to clock him out.
Yeah, but when you losing and the way you lose, they're gonna point to the head coach.
They're gonna point to it, but as I pointed out to him, they're not gonna fire him, and the Steelers are still winning the division. It's not happening.
Nah.
So
currently,
they still currently winning the division.
Yeah, that ain't gonna
Ravens on their ass though.
Oh, Ravens coming.
But but speaking of people getting clocked out and whatnot, it's a wonderful segment around this show, a very important segment. I think you're gonna want to speak on this because I brought this up about a week or so ago, and we're here.
Yep.
So why don't we tap into Clock Out for Me, Big Dawg?
Yeah, you can go ahead and
Pack
clock
your
out.
shit
Right now?
and get out.
Are you gonna parlay it with AskAGiantsFan? Because it's kind of like,
You know,
man.
it's pretty much that. Let's go ahead and parlay it. I love a good parlay.
Yeah.
How about we ask a Giants fan? Dead ass.
Let's go,
Dead ass.
Had to cut his wood off, you heard?
All right.
Why don't we talk about it? Just rip the Band-Aid off.
All right, bring us in. So what happened?
Daboll got his ass clocked out.
Yep.
They said you got a weird relationship going on. We don't like how you looking at Jackson Dart. Get out.
Yep. Time to go.
Time to go. Now, I've been saying, he been skating for a long time. He been sliding by. They've been putting it off on, this person, this coordinator, well, you hired him. You hired him. You did. And you was fucking up last season. You was there when Daniel Jones was there fucking up the church's money. You was in the building when and that was your shame fault about letting Saquon go, but you was in the building. You was around. You been there for a lot of these problems, and it seems like the problems are still persisting because you had a collapse again against the Bears in a game where you could have won.
Yep.
And in close games, it's not all about the players. A lot of times it's about the coaching.
A lot of time. Most of the time.
So go ahead.
All right. So
How
my
you
thoughts on them firing Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Coach of the year. He won Coach of the Year. One playoff win with Daniel Jones. I think Daboll is a good offensive coordinator. I think he could
Really?
he could good offensive coordinator. Head coach, probably not so much, obviously, based off of what we saw. It was time. Now, do I believe they should have waited to the end of the season? I think so. But John Mara said last year, because he had an opportunity to fire Daboll before this season started, and he said, you know what? We're going to keep him, but I'm running out of patience.
Yeah.
Quote, unquote.
As he should have been.
I'm running out of patience.
Should have been out of patience.
And when you have 4 games that you could have won,
right.
you had 10-point leads in at some point in these games. Think about it. The Giants could be 6-4 right now if they would have won these games. And who's to say that winning those games brings more momentum and they could have been a better record? But when you lose games like that in that fashion, that's coaching. A lot of it is coaching downfalls or coaching collapses at the end of the games. Time management, clock management, calling the right plays, running the right plays, so forth and so on. So that's one part of it. You can't lose games like that and expect to hold your job. You're coaching to lose, but you're not coaching to win. That's what those games were. That's how those games went.
I say the Giants might have been 5-5.
And then, I think they really let him go because of what happened with Jackson Dart. He's been in concussions. He had a concussion last week. The concussion that he had happened plays before, like they pulled him out plays after the concussion.
Okay.
So because he
don't like Russell.
The media pressed him. They said, okay, well, when did you know that he had a concussion? He was like, well, I looked at him and, the guys, the staff said, we got to get him out.
He looks at Jackson Dart and sees his firstborn child.
Media says, well, there was a play where he got hit and fumbled the ball that happened 2 plays prior. Why didn't you pull him then? And, there's no response to that. So I do believe that the Maras, they ripped the Band-Aid off. They got tired of it. And it was time. It's time to see a new voice, because it's a losing culture right now. And you got to change the culture. And the way you change the culture is at the top.
Yeah.
Now, letting go of Brian Daboll, that's a good move. Has to be done. Like I said, I would have rather that happen at the end of the season so you can continue to develop Jackson Dart over the course of the season and kind of prep him for the next guy. But I guess they felt like, he was not protecting his health. Concussions, injuries, all that kept happening.
And I've been saying that.
But if you're going to let go of Brian Daboll, you need to let go of that motherfucker. Joe Shane, you need to let him go too.
Yeah. Joe Shane.
You need to let him go too. Like, you don't keep both. Like, you get rid of both of them. You get rid of both of them. Like, granted, Joe Shane has brought in some talented pieces as well, like drafting Abdul Carter. He drafted Jackson Dart.
Joe Shane has done more over these past 2 years.
He drafted Jackson Dart, but he wasn't sold on Jackson Dart. He wasn't.
He still did it.
He still did it because Brian Daboll was like, yeah, that's my guy. He was like, well, if you think that's your guy, we'll take a flyer or take a chance on him. So I'm like, Joe Shane, I'm looking at you with a side eye yet again.
Okay, but none of us were that high on Jackson Dart.
No, nobody was. Not that high.
So I can't fault Joe Shane for that, and he still did it. At the end of the day,
yeah.
Because we was at a draft party. We seen a Giants fan crash the fuck out when they drafted Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm still crashing out about that. He only got one sack this year.
But Brian Burns and the other side, they've been doing pretty well as far as generating some pressure in some situations.
But we got talented pieces, so I get why they kept him.
So Joe Shane,
we got a nucleus there.
Joe Shane, he actually created a new nucleus. Now he's always going to catch the side eye forever for the Saquon Barkley walkaway. However, he has, to his credit, since then created some nucleus, some impact players. Got your Scatterboo, got your Dart, got your Abdul Carter, got you some players who can make some impacts, or at least we think can make some key impacts on some games. Versus Daboll, you was there with the guys that they let go that they wanted to keep. You've been there with the rookies. You've been there with the veterans that you traded for, and it's still been the same results. So I think when that's the common denominator, it's just time for you to get the hell on.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I've been saying, though, also, the Jackson Dart concussion is not a surprise. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner because I felt like he was running way too much. Especially after Malik Neighbors went down, especially after Scatterboot went down. Sir, if you're running, slide.
Yeah.
Stop. You trying to fight for an extra yard and do all this, and you taking hits. This team has already been devastated by injuries. You cannot afford to have the quarterback now. I said this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
On this show. So my whole thing is that's not surprising. We all know Daboll just loves him some Jackson Dart. He looks at him. If somebody looks at you the way that Daboll looks at Jackson Dart, you got to make sure you keep him in your life forever because that's a real love. So, I mean, this is not surprising, but I'm glad they finally ripped the Band-Aid off. I don't necessarily – I understand waiting to the end of the season, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's no need in pussyfooting around it. Just do it. True. And just go ahead and get it done.
And Mike Kafka is the interim head coach, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll see. But nobody has expectations out of Kafka. It's just like, okay, well, the season's just cooked, and it's been cooked. And we're just going to let you ride it out till we get a guy.
Yeah, I like it. And, you know, you get a head start, head jump on, looking at potential candidates.
Potential candidates landing in spots. People know that the market is open. If we got some good offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators that might be looking to take a leap up to head coach the next season, you know, you already got them in mind as a potential target. And you already got some pieces, such as Jackson Dart, Scatterboo, and a defensive line that has been generating a lot of pressure, some sacks with Brian Burns.
They haven't been.
Brian Burns.
He leads the league in sacks, but as a collective, they haven't been doing good.
Not as a collective, but you got pieces, though, to work with. So that's a positive sign. Now, moving into another wonderful segment. There's been a lot of talk about ups and downs, roller coasters, contenders, pretenders, so we might as well just get into another good segment called Besides the Eagles.
What ticket? You're right. What is this?
And they actually won last night. Barely, but they did. So in terms of contenders and pretenders, right? Because we have been on such a roller coaster and such an up and down and such a crazy ride, I feel like this is actually a good time for us to talk about two teams that are actually going head to head, and we've actually been having some little sprinkles of conversations about them quite often, and that is the Rams and the Seahawks. They're in the same division.
Yep.
We both talked about, well, you especially have had a lot of love for the Seahawks defense.
Yep.
And you have, you said you think the Rams are the top team.
Yep.
In the NFL.
Yep.
But they're going head to head, right? The Seahawks are actually the one leading the division. The Rams came out there and were dominant against the 49ers, but the Seahawks went out there and they was dominant against the Cardinals. And so nothing changed in terms of positions after those matchups. So that leaves the Seahawks still in the front and the Rams still in second. But you say the Rams are the best team. Who is the real contender between these two?
I still believe the Rams are the better contender. I think they have the better quarterback with Matt Stafford. Some people argue Sam Darnold, but I think Matt Stafford has been playing lights out. This motherfucker been thrown 20 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the last 4 or 5 weeks. 3+ touchdowns a game in the last 3 weeks. No interceptions. MVP level stuff. You know what I'm saying? They had a better quarterback. They could run the football. Seattle, they run the ball a little bit, But I think the Rams, they make a better commitment to running the football. And then defensively, that front is good as well. I think their defense is a little bit comparable to a degree, like the defensive front and all of that stuff. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks, they have, I think they have better players in the secondary. But as far as that front, the fronts are pretty much the same. You know what I mean? Brian Young, Jared Verse. You got guys up front there. But I think the Rams, offensively, they run their offense a little bit better than what I see the Seattle Seahawks do. The Seattle Seahawks is Jackson Smith and Jigba centered, focused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what I didn't like about what I saw from the Seattle Seahawks is they can turn the ball over a little bit too. Sam Darnold, they can turn the ball over a little bit. Last week when they played the Cardinals, he threw a couple interceptions that were like, you know what I'm saying? Like, huh?
It's a division matchup, though.
Division matchup, yeah, I get it. But Sam Darnold still, you still got to protect that ball. So, I like the Rams to be better than the Seahawks right now, currently, just because of the quarterback position, bro. Honestly, the quarterback position plays a big role in that.
Okay, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into that a little bit more, but. It's some other contenders and pretenders in there, and some things to talk about. And actually, now that I'm paying attention to it, let's go ahead and parlay this into MustSeeTV because it's some matchups, and these folks gotta see this shit. No cap. But it's some matchups, including that Rams versus Seahawks game. It's definitely MustSeeTV.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there's another couple of games. One that I'm highly interested in is the Chiefs versus the Broncos. Basically, what you were saying to me earlier in this show is you kind of think the Broncos are fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
You said the defense is good, but the offense is mid.
Great. They lead the league in sacks. They're phenomenal. But
Benito, what's the other? It's a couple other guys. Benito was chasing after Geno Smith like a madman. But it was other guys on that defense. They got about 3 guys who cook on defense, the defensive line every game. Mm-hmm. So, the Broncos defense is turned up, but they're going against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs off of a bye week, coming off of that loss to the Bills. What you thinking about this game and this matchup?
I think the Chiefs gonna get this win. Chiefs
had
a
win streak for the Broncos ends here.
Yeah, because I think this is a must-win game for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have about that much room for error.
Yeah,
to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
And in order to do that, the Broncos is on the menu, and they need to.
They gotta eat some horse.
Yeah, they got to. So
pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, so this is a must-win game for the Chiefs. Like I said, the Broncos offense hasn't been good. They've been squeaking by with these wins. The only concern I have is the Broncos front, well, not the front, but the Chiefs offensive line defending that pass rush from the Denver Broncos. But they've had a week to figure that out.
Okay.
They've had a week to figure it out. Chiefs are healthy. And that performance that the Broncos just showed on Thursday night against the Raiders.
To the Raiders' credit, again, that was another division matchup. To the Raiders' credit, Mad Max and them boys was putting pressure on all night.
Yeah.
That Raiders defense was humming during that game.
And the Chiefs defense can do the same thing with Steve Spagnuolo. Spags get on that phone, he'll dial it up, and he'll send that pressure, send that blitz, have Bo Nix looking crazy. Because Bo Nix, he made some throw. He was throwing the ball like, bro, what are you doing?
Bo Nix has his moments sometimes where he looks like he's like, okay, do you know what's going on? Do you know what the play was? Are you aware of what's going on? But I mean, and then at other times, Bo Nix, he looks poised. You see that extra time spent in college. You come out and you look and you see, you're like, okay, this guy looks like he kind of has a good grasp on things. But when that pressure is on him, sometimes he looks like he don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, so I can't trust that. I'm sorry. I just can't. I don't trust Bo Nix. I don't trust the Broncos offense. I think they fool's gold. So I think the Chiefs go out there, they do what they got to do and win because they need to.
I'm not necessarily gonna completely put on the Broncos on watch for fool's gold quite yet, but I do agree in the fact that I think the Chiefs definitely need this dub. The Chiefs off a bye week where Andy Reid is just good money in a lot of situations against any team. So I have to go with them. That 3.5 hook is interesting for the point spread coming up in this. So it's that little hook that makes it interesting just because I do actually believe that the Broncos defense is really that good. And I've seen a dominant defensive team carry a team to Super Bowls, championships, and very far before. So not necessarily saying that I think the Broncos are going to a Super Bowl. All I'm saying is I do think that Broncos defense is really that fucking good. But in this situation, I got to go with the Chiefs as the stronger opponent in this situation. And they need it. You got a strong team back against the wall coming off a bye week. You got to win that game. The last one, what I'm highly interested in for MustSeeTV are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Buffalo Bills. There's also some contender and pretender questions going on. There's some teams trying to bounce back from some injuries. There's some questionable defense. There's some MVP candidates who kind of fell down in the ranks. But it's also some emerging young players who came to life. So I think this is a very interesting matchup. Both of these teams coming off of losses. What you thinking with this one?
It's hard to say, man. If Tampa can run the football, if they get Bucky Irvin back, I like Tampa.
You like Tampa?
Yeah, I'm not sure the status on Bucky, but if not, and it's going to be a passing game shootout between Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. Give me Josh Allen all day long, especially coming off of a loss. What I have noticed this year though is Tampa has been playing some pretty decent opponents. Okay,
yeah,
they just lost to the Patriots, playoff team. They lost to the Lions, playoff team.
Bucky's not
lost to the Eagles, playoff team.
Bucky's not expected to play for Week 11.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean more so. I can't trust the Bills. I really can't trust the Bills, but I do trust them coming off of an embarrassing loss to a subpar team.
Yeah.
I think they do what they need to do to kind of piece it together and make it a close one. Right?
Yeah.
I might go Bucks on this one, to be honest. I think the Bills make it close. But I think I'm going to lean Buccaneers on this one because offensively they have the weaponry offensively is better. You know what I'm saying? Emeka Egbuka is going crazy. Tez Johnson went crazy last week.
They got some depth at wide receiver.
They got depth. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I like the Bucks. I'll lean Bucks on this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills come out and handle business.
The point spread is 5.5.
Yeah,
I don't love the Bills at 5.5.
No, it's a lot
in
of
this
points.
game. It's a lot for them. I'm in agreement with you on that. I mean, it could really go either way. I think the roller coaster of these teams is the part that makes it difficult. You know, because which one of these teams you're gonna get? I think the Bucks have been, even when the Bucks have lost, they've been decently more consistent than the Bills. It's just even when they've lost, it was more like personnel issues or shorthanded this guy or substituting somebody in or lost a key player during that game.
Right.
So, I mean, I felt like that was kind of more of the Bucks issue in a lot of those losses. And a couple of opponents they had, to be fair, were just more just outmatched. Like the Bucks putting up 23 points, they about to put up 25. Like it's just they're just a little bit better. And I don't necessarily know if I can say that the Bills are just a little bit better than the Bucks right now, how they've been playing. So the verdict is still out on that, but I'm leaning Bucks.
MustSeeTV though. That's good. They both lost, coming off losses. Both going to be desperate for a win. Only thing is they playing in Buffalo.
That's another problem. That's another problem. And it's getting cold outside. It's cold in Atlanta.
Yeah, it might be snowing up there.
It might be snowing
Sunday.
in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
Buffalo.
But
Yeah.
let's go ahead. Since we done parlayed a lot of stuff, let's go ahead and get to the most important part of this show. It's a wonderful segment that we like to call Best Bets. Put your chips on the table, let them stack, let them fall. Now, last week, you did it again.
I did it again. Sweet.
You went 3-0 on your best bets. Very good job
I'm hot.
to you.
I'm
I
hot.
went 1-2. I had some teams that got their ass cooked that I just honestly didn't feel like they should have been cooked, and some teams that had some collapses later on in the game, but we'll talk about that more in a little second. So I went 1-2, you went 3-0. That brings the grand total of the records. You have 15-12, and I am 13-13-1. So still in solid standing, but let's make it great and phenomenal. So, what do you got?
We're going to do a clean sweep again. 3 weeks in a row. That's what we're going for. I'm hot
It's
right
never
now.
been done before.
Never been done before.
Let's see
I'm
it.
hot. Let's
I
go.
wanna see it.
First bet. Give me the Baltimore Ravens -8 versus the Cleveland Browns. Oh, you might be saying, it's a division game, man. The Cleveland Browns brought Lamar. He doesn't really play that well against the Browns and this and that and the third. Well, they got Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. Did you see that monstrosity that he did last week? He was awful.
Oh man.
He was terrible. He was terrible. They lost to the Jets. The goddamn Jets.
Wish I had a watch on right now. It's
Yeah.
been time to put Shador in.
Yeah, so Lamar Jackson, third game back. He started to get his mojo back at the Vikings game. They dominated that game. They won. The defense came out, played phenomenally. Remember that defense that we thought was going to be good that ended up being atrocious?
They're kind of starting to play
They're
like
turning
it.
the tide a little bit. They're
Yeah.
turning the tide a little
Yeah, I
bit, so they're being
noticed.
a little bit better. So give me the Baltimore Ravens -8, must-win game for the Ravens. They got to win pretty much every game here on out. Their
Yeah, they
schedule
do.
is pretty easy going forward. They're aiming for that number 1 spot in the division to chase the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens -8. It's getting colder. Derrick Henry, we need to see some more of him. Next bet.
Yeah, Derek. We need a lot out of you because you supposed to be going for 2,000 yards this season.
Next
Allegedly.
bet on the board.
Not happening.
The Chicago Bears +3 versus the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Do you believe in J.J. McCarthy? I don't.
He hadn't been terrible though. I'll say this about JJ. JJ has not looked as nervous and as frantic as I seen him at the beginning of the season. He looks more
does
poised.
Justin Jefferson get 12 to 14 targets and only catch 4 balls? That means JJ is not throwing the ball accurately down the field.
It was a couple of uncharacteristic drops out of my guy Jettis. Jettis, my favorite wide receiver. He did drop a damn pass in the end zone, and that's not JJ's fault.
Yeah. But I'm taking Minnesota. I'm taking the Chicago Bears +3. Division game. Caleb Williams, you seen him? He's been playing very, very well lately. They on a 6-game win streak or something like that. They are cooking right now. I think that gives them a little momentum, gives them a little bit more juice, a little bit more confidence. Looks like him and Ben Johnson starting to figure some things out.
They ain't on 6 game. They lost a game in there. They won 2 games.
2 games?
2
Okay.
game win streak. They lost a game.
Somebody on a 6-game win streak. I can't remember who it was. But either way, these guys, Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, they looking like they got something going. This dude can throw. He can throw. And he's been scrambling, and he's been using his legs. I told you he's faster than people think. He is fast. So give me the Chicago Bears +3. And my last bet of the day, it's a lock.
It's a
The
lot.
Kansas City Chiefs -3.5 versus the Denver Broncos. I don't care about the hook. Give me the hook. Give me the rod. Give me the reel. Give me the line. Give me the fish. I don't care. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs -3.5. Why? Oh, the Broncos
They
got the
need
best
it.
defense in the league. They got the best front in the league. They lead the league in sacks. Yeah, that's cool.
That is a caged animal that needs a win very bad.
Kansas City Chiefs just came off a loss to Buffalo on the road. Kansas City Chiefs, they just had a bye week. They had another week to prepare for the Denver Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs, This is a must-win game for them to get into the playoffs or to help them get to the playoffs. Division game, division opponent.
I get it.
The Denver Broncos, they're fool's gold. I don't believe in the offense. I don't believe in Bo Nix. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs -3.5 to defeat the Denver Broncos to win and cover. So those are my best bets. Baltimore -3, Chicago +3. Baltimore's -8, Chicago +3, and the Kansas City Chiefs -3.5.
Okay.
Lock it.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you on the majority of that. 8 is a lot of points.
It's never
in a
a lot
division
for the
matchup.
Ravens. Never a lot for the Ravens.
Shit.
Never.
But
the Ravens cover big spreads.
But the way they've been playing, the good Ravens cover big spread.
The good Ravens are here.
If the good Ravens are truly in the building, then yes,
they here.
That Chicago Bears game, we're gonna see.
I don't trust in JJ.
We're gonna see.
I don't think them Vikings do.
Okay. Well, my picks. Got to clean it up. Got to get better. Let's start off with another one that I like. Off the jump, give me the 49ers -2.5 versus the Cardinals. Another division matchup. Back-to-back division matchups. You came out there. You got your ass cooked by the Rams. You don't want to you already in a tight spot where you going against the Seahawks and the Rams, and based on that matchup, it looks like
they on the outside looking in right
now. They on the outside looking in terms of that top dog spot. However, what I will say though is the thing that they have going in their favor is they've done decent in the division though. In terms of their division matchups, so it's not like they're just completely cooked.
No, they're on the outside looking in. They're in AC right now.
They're AFC right now, but it's not like they're just completely out of contention. You're still an AFC for a wild card spot. So I mean, it's not like you don't have a chance in hell.
That's a must win for them boys.
But they need that dub, and they damn sure can't afford to be losing against a division opponent. So they need that dub. Give me the 49ers -2.5 versus the Cardinals. I like it because it's underneath a field goal, so that's a good spot for them. I love it even more if it was 2, but I'll take 2.5. The next one I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers -3 versus the Jags. The Jags went out there and they had the game in their hands. Mm-hmm. And you went out there and you got your ass cooked by D Mills.
You did.
Shout out to the homie D Mills. D Mills went out there and cooked the Jags, but more importantly, the Houston defense came out there and sauteed, tossed them in the sauce, and had some Jaguar meat for dinner. Because they went out there and they sealed the deal. Will Anderson, yet again, playing like a Pro Bowler. Shout out to Will Anderson. Making a play, getting a sack at the end of the game, turnover, touchdown, game over. Seal it, celebrating the end zone. For that reason, I feel like the Chargers can do the same thing. I think the Chargers got enough impact players on defense to come out there and really generate a lot of pressure on the Jags and Trevor Lawrence. And then these teams already had that bad loss in the playoff history. It's just a little bit of tension and bad blood between these teams, low key. So I feel like the Chargers in this matchup will come out there and be the more dominant team. Give me the Chargers -3. Finally, I'll take the Bengals +5.5 to cover against the Steelers. The Bengals put up points. The Steelers, sometimes they put up points. Against the Chargers, they did not put up points. Now, do I think they score more points against this Bengals defense? Absolutely. But I also think the Bengals can score points on their ass. And for that reason, I think 5.5 is quite a bit of points. And I think that the Bengals will probably end up covering this off of a bye week in the division matchup. I think they can generate enough defense against the Steelers to at least cover the point spread. I'm not saying I think they win, but I do think they can cover 5.5.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Cover.
Give me the 49ers -2.5, the Chargers -3, and the Cincinnati Bengals plus 5.5. I'm gonna find me a parlay or a teaser somewhere. I don't know if I'm gonna do it with them. No 6. But I'm gonna find a teaser somewhere, and I'll let you guys know about that on the gram. But before we go, there's one more important thing. Folks gotta know. Is the dog barking?
Not last week.
Hell no, because your dog was a Steelers and mine was a punk ass Jaguars. What was that? But these folks still gotta know, what is your dog of the week? Because it was damn sure some dogs barking last week.
Yeah.
There was some underdog wins all across the board. So
Yeah, this week, man,
What you
I'm
got?
going with a good team.
you going with a good team.
I'm going to pick the best dog, I believe. One of the best dogs on the board is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Division game. We talked about it. One of the top teams in the NFC.
You said the Rams the best team in the league,
I
though.
do, but if I'm going to choose a dog, it's going to be Seattle. And they on the road. They play better on the road from what we've seen all year.
Okay.
They got a good defense. This might be the only defense that can probably frazzle Matt Stafford and that offense. So, division game, the spread is what, like 3 or something like that, 2.5, 2 points, something like that, something light. So, give me the Seattle Seahawks
It's 3.
in upset to the Rams, man.
That's a surprising pick after you just told me that Matthew Stafford was an MVP and the Rams the best team in the league.
Yeah, I can
and
feel that way.
da, da,
But
da, da,
that
da,
doesn't
and they
necessarily-
better
I'm not
than the
saying they're going to go
Seahawks,
undefeated. They're going to keep
da, da,
winning
da, da,
games.
da, 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 da.
I can still feel that way. I can still feel that way.
I just
And if
said
the-
it was surprising.
and
I
then
mean,
if the-
I'm not
and-
mad at it.
And if the Rams lose this game, it's not like they lost to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They lost to a contender. So I can still feel that way. You know?
Speaking of a team that lost to the Miami Dolphins, it's a few dogs out there. It's not a lot of dogs that I love. But speaking of one of the better dogs, I got to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Bills. I understand weather conditions. I understand Josh Allen. I understand they coming off of a loss. The Bucs also coming off of a loss. What do you do? What do you do? I'm gonna go with the Bucs because I do think that Baker got a little bit of dog in him. So I'm gonna go with the Bucs in this matchup. I do understand that this is also a tough matchup, and this is one of those games that goes either way. They're 5.5 point underdog in this game. So I mean, looking at that, the Bills are supposed to win this game for sure. But I don't know, man. I feel like the Buccaneers got some fight in them, and that damn Bills defense is suspect.
Yeah.
And one thing Baker will do is take off on your ass. Baker will take off, and then they got depth at wide receiver, so they can make some plays. So give me the Bucs versus the Bills. If it's snow, ugly.
I
But
like the
I
cover.
still like them though.
I like the 5.5 cover.
I love the cover. I love the cover. But for dogs, we don't do covers. We do W's. So
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that's what we got.
Yeah, my bad.
Bucks, Seahawks. Those are the dogs this week. And that's all we got.
That's it. I gave you everything, bro. That's it.
So make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all these things because we need it here at the channel. Keep showing us love so we can keep showing it back. Shout out my guy, Nelson again. Been passing out them picks. Getting some NBA W's flowing. I'm going to start throwing those on the Instagram story. Some of these NBA props, some of these NBA picks, because we got some good ones flowing over there, man. I like what I'm seeing out of certain teams. I'm getting my crop of players that I like to rock with. So make sure y'all follow us on the gram, man. There's going to be some stuff popping up.
Tap in.
It's going to be some stuff popping up on that Instagram story that you all should definitely, and I know you're going to want to see. So, anything else you want to tell the people?
Parlays.
Making money line plays.
That's it.
May all these bets continue to pay because I need that money today.
Straight up.
And if you haven't, and if you're looking for another sports book, I'm going to drop my link in the bio. Make sure y'all go check it out. They're giving away some good $25 free bets over there. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He woke up. Gonna drop that Onyx Odds link in there. Tap in with me. As I said, hit me on the gram. You need an explanation of how it works or whatever, but the link is gonna be in the description. And I need that money. So make sure y'all do that. But without further ado, we out.
Peace.
Nigga.
Run it up, get it. Y'all niggas say you got a whole lot of money, I ain't never seen a young nigga with it. Let me talk to you. Run it up, get it. Y'all niggas say you got a whole lot of money, I ain't never seen a young nigga with it. Look, big capping, talk capping, small capping, ball capping. I don't know what happened. All I see is a bunch of fake ass cap ass rapping.